Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be doing the monthly TNC video. So, I have two decks that were previously somebody else's, and I have two decks that were brand new. I actually didn't buy a whole lot of decks. I'm trying really, really hard to not just be buying decks. I'm trying to stay out of that cycle. I kind of fell into it and now I'm trying to like claw my way out of it. I don't want to keep buying decks. I have tons of decks. And my space that I have available still for decks is reserved for very special decks. Decks that are important to me, decks that really click with me, not just because it's the new hot thing, right? So I'm trying to be very selective on what I bring in. But first, I wanted to talk about this deck right here. This is the original edition of Sacred Symbols by Marcella Kroll. And very recently, I did a video, a rant and ramble on tarot etiquette. There's a video on that. I do want to address a few things about that video. First of all of the situations or events that I spoke about or mentioned in that video had all been slightly altered enough to keep the content of the story correct, but at the same time enough that to keep the person that I was referring to private, right? Um, Anybody who takes the time to read comments or the description box would see that I had made that comment. And that's why I'm saying it on here now, because we have a really bad tendency of not reading description boxes and not reading comments and just firing off our opinions without reading the contents of the video or what the creator has said in the description box, right? Or what other people have commented and said. So you'll get a lot of repeating comments saying the same thing over and over and over again. You have to remember when we're making these videos as creators that sometimes we forget to mention things and we're like, shit, like I didn't say that and I wanted to mention that or talk about it. So there are things that don't get said that are usually really obvious things, and they tend to kind of fly under, like we forget to say them or whatever, and in some cases they get edited out, right? So I might have said something or addressed a situation that got edited out of the final video because of a background noise, or I sneezed, or whatever reason, right? So, and yes, you can always go back and do voiceovers, but the program that I use doesn't do a good job with voiceovers at all. Another thing that I wanted to address is in that video, somebody made a comment that you can't pick and choose who you read for. And I couldn't disagree with that statement or that comment anymore. You have full right of who you read for and who you don't read for. If you are at, if you're reading through a metaphysical shop or you're at a festival or market, yeah, you have no control. Who sits down and gives you the money sits down and gives you the money. At metaphysical shops, usually people book for you and you go in on, let's say, a Tuesday and you have several bookings already made for you because the people who own the shop or run the shop or work for the shop make the appointments for you throughout the week, right? So yes, in situations like that, you do not have control over who you read for. But I don't do that. I have my own thing going on here, and I have full control of who I let come in through my doors and who I do not. And what I always tell everybody who comes here to learn workshops or whatever, for whatever reason they come here, I always tell them if something doesn't feel right, it's for a reason. Don't ever put yourself in a position where you have to take that reading, whether you want to or not, because you're strapped or whatever. You don't have to take anybody. You can have full control over who you see and who you don't see. And It's about quality over quantity, right? That is something that I have spent 10 plus years building my clientele. And I have, for the most part, freaking amazing customers because I chose quality over quantity and I slowly build my business. At first, yep, sure, I took everybody and anybody that came here waving money. And guess what? It never went right. When my intuition was like, felt funny, and when my spidey senses clicked in and I was like, I feel really off about this person, something doesn't feel right about this person, and I took the money anyways because I was brand new to this and I was like, I need money. Money is money, and I'll just fire off a reading. It always went wrong. It always went bad. Whether that person was closed, whether that person was coming here with ill intent, whether that person was not open to the reading, whatever the situation was, it always went wrong. And even with Reiki, I took appointments that I had these really funny feelings about. And there was a couple times I got into some really awkward, sticky situation with men here alone. And I now am very cautious about when I book and who I book and what's happening and what's not happening. So no, you don't have to take anybody and everybody. You do have full control over your clients. In that rant video, I didn't mention, or it got edited out, I can't really remember. Of course, I know I need to own my own readings. I was expressing frustration about the lack of etiquette that people have nowadays when it comes to fellow tarot readers. When I read that comment, that really struck a chord with me because I totally choose who comes here and who doesn't come here. And the funny thing is in that video, when that person and situation that I was addressing the most, I had a weird feeling when she booked an appointment. I had a weird gut feeling to not take the reading. And I was like, well, she's come here. She's learned here before. I don't really see what the big deal is. And I took her, and it ended up becoming an issue, a rant and a ramble video on YouTube. But like, well, part of it. So, I mean, there's a history with that person. I should have followed my intuition and I should have followed my gut and I should have picked who came here for a reading and who didn't. And I didn't listen to my intuition. And that's what happened, right? So protect your energy, follow your intuition. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. But, anyways, all right, let's stop the rant and ramble at that point right there because I said what I had to say. This one here has been with me for a little bit. This was used when I bought it. The person had gone on a trip to Los Angeles and they picked it up at a local little shop that was selling this. And I believe that was the only way that you could get it. I don't think at any moment in time this was available like the way her other indie decks kind of are. I'm I'm pretty sure you had to be kind of local to get your hands on this. I'm not 100% sure though. Like I don't know the whole background on this and how you got this deck. It does come from 2000, let's see. 2013 to 2015 she has on the cover, and I don't have any publisher's page, which I mean, it's an indie. You're not gonna get a publisher page, right? But I was just wondering if it's in here. There's no copyrights other than just 2013 to 2015. This was out and about, right? And you can tell it's old. It is scuffed. Let me get up close here so you can see it is scuffed. It is well loved. I enjoy this deck a lot, but I like the modern day sacred symbols as well too. I read with it a lot in my shop. This one, though, like I said in that rant and ramble video, I kind of keep this more for myself. This is kind of more of a personal oracle that I read with. I have read with clients with it before, but I don't know. It's kind of more for me. I don't like to use it a whole heck of a lot because, like I said, you'll never see this. If you ever run into a used copy of this, grab it. You'll never see it again. So that's how I came across it. I actually was on Marketplace on Facebook, and the person had this for sale, and I was like, what? Because I know, because I follow Marcella, right? I do. If there's anyone in the spiritual world that I talk about, it is Marcella Kroll. I really like her stuff. I really like who she is as a person and what she stands for. Um, and so I have seen this deck on her channel before, because she obviously has a copy of her own stuff, right? And once in a blue moon, she'll pull it out and you'll see it in a picture or in a background. Or sometimes she does, like, if you subscribe to her, she sometimes uses it in her readings for the collective, right? Different stuff like that. And so I kind of knew that it existed, but I never ever thought in a million years that I'd ever get the opportunity to get my hands on it. And I was like, it was late night. I couldn't fall asleep. I was bored. And I happened to go on to Facebook Marketplace, and this popped up, and she had just posted it that afternoon. And I was like, oh my God. And I sent her a message immediately, and I e-transferred her and she shipped it like the next day. So I was like, sweet, mine. And it's been with me since. And I like it. And I like it a lot. And it is a great reader. So I've just been spending a lot of time with it lately. Like I said, I'm don't want to use it too much, because it's not something that is so easily replaced. It actually cannot be replaced because it's not even in print anymore. And I don't even know if you can even get your hands on it. I doubt that you can. So I try not to use it too much, just because I don't want to not be without it. I really, really do enjoy it. So if I feel like I want to read sacred symbols and I'm like, "Ugh, I've been using this one a lot," I then go and get the modern copy, right? The one that's readily available everywhere and anywhere, and I read with that. And that one's good too, though. Like, this one's really cool. Like, her artwork's really cool and all that stuff. But the other one's been kind of gone over, and the keywords are a little bit better, and the descriptions are a little bit better. It's more of a well-rounded oracle, where this one can kind of, some of the cards I feel are a little repetitive in their information, but it's still a fantastic deck, and I still love it to pieces. So that is this one I've been working with for, I don't know, I brought it out a couple weeks ago, at least 4 weeks ago, and I've been working with it. It's by my bedside, and I just spend evenings with it, pulling a couple cards, because I love it. And I bought it to enjoy it, right? And not to just sit on a shelf. But I do limit my use of it so that I can have it for a long time. All right, this is another deck that is new to me as of very recent, in August. And let me just get it out of its scarf here. And it is the Thoth, the big cards. And it is a greenie. Now, this deck is in amazing shape. I love it. This is such a good deck. I'm really enjoying my time with it a lot. And it's just, this has been my first experience, other than that one that came in that yard sale haul, the littler cards, right? This is my first taste of like a real Thoth deck. Yes, I have Thoth decks that are, or like decks, let me rephrase that. I have decks that are Thoth based, but I did not have the true real Thoth. So I decided that if I was going to use it, if I was going to learn it, if I was going to spend time with it, then I needed to get one. And then I did a yard sale haul. So I ended up going to a yard sale, and I ended up getting a little tiny one. Here, let me grab it. It's right next to me. I ended up getting the smaller card one, right? With the white borders. This came to me in that haul, and I was like, sweet, I have a Thoth. But the problem I had with this deck was the cards are really, really little and it's hard to see the symbolism and the details. So I wanted to get like a bigger card one, strictly for learning and to be able to get like that full picture and the details and all the little things, because there's some little stuff, like some little symbolism that happens in these cards, and it is way too hard to see on these little cards. So I ended up falling upon this, which once again was a person who wasn't too far away from me. Once again, I found it on Facebook Marketplace. The deal and the situation that happened with the person was amazing. And I got this for a really good price. And it has a little bit of damage, tiniest bit up at the top here, like something was poking it. Like she had it packed into a box and something had poked it sharp. Um, but it's okay. It's perfectly fine. Other than that, it's like in brand new perfect condition. So yeah, I've been spending time with this and learning it and understanding its language and how it says things. I kind of fell into the Aleister Crowley rabbit hole and all of his information and his way of viewing things and seeing things. And yeah, he was eccentric, but like, I don't know. I actually found him really interesting and I got a couple books on him and I'm just kind of like learning about who he was and all of that stuff. And I don't know, I think he's kind of cool, to tell you the truth. But I always kind of like that darker stuff, right? So I'm good with it. And this is what I kind of bought for myself during August. And I love it. It's beautiful. It's a great reader. It reads so different. Like it's crazy to me how different decks read. Like every deck reads so different and I think that's why we're so drawn to them and we buy so many of them, right? Is because they all have their own little personalities and their own little quirks and they all read so different. At least that's how I feel. I don't know. That's how I've noticed things with tarot. So another deck that I brought in during August is by Astral Lady Tarot. This is her magical guidance cards, and she has like links on it, like links to buy it in her, like on her bio and all of that stuff, and in her videos. And I love this little deck. First of all this photography on here is her photography. She spent an entire year just taking pictures and they're awesome. This is my first photography based deck. I don't have decks that are, they're all illustrated or like art, right? They're not people's actual photography. And this deck is amazing. Her photography and what she did is so cool. On the back, it has all these keywords, right? And she leaves space for you to write in your own if you want to. And she has a couple different editions that you can get, like a couple different card stocks. This is just your basic make playing cards card stock, which is fantastic. She's got a linen one. She's got one that's waterproof and plastic. She's got a couple different ones happening on there. But I just got the basic, the original, and so what I do with this deck is, if you guys follow me, you would have seen that I bought an old antique table to read tarot from, and I refurbished it and fixed it. It needed some repairs, different things like that, right? I went to this deck and I asked this deck, like, how, I already got, see, look at, I already got stuff jumping out. Okay, let's see what these are. I've got the one with her hair, and it's meditate, breathe, gut feelings, intuition, inner knowing. And I have this one that looks like a door opening to a window, and it says liminal, in between, veil, unseen. All right, so those are the cards that were like adamant on coming out. So I came to this deck and I just asked it, like, how should I cleanse that table? What should I do to that table? What does that table need, right? What just jumping out like crazy. What should I do with that table, right? How should I cleanse it? How should I clean it? What should I do to it? And The one that jumped out, and let's see if I can find it. This is a big deck. She's got a lot. Oh, they're right here. It was this one that popped out. And there was another one too, but I can't remember which one it was, but it was this one. If I get my camera just focus in on it. This one was incense and smoke. So it was making it very clear to me, like, how I needed to, my candle just burnt out. I literally just said incense and smoke, and my candle in this thing burnt out, and all of the smoke came like puffing up. That was crazy. Anyways, so it was telling me that that table needed to be cleansed with smoke, whether it was incense or sage or copal or whatever, but whatever I did needed to be like a smoke cleanse, um, as opposed to moon water, as opposed to filling it up with Reiki, as opposed to wiping it down with water, whether it was, there's different ways to cleanse things, right? Singing bowls, different things like that, right? And this was very specific that I needed to cleanse it with incense and smoke, and that's kind of what I was going to do, but that just really concreted it in for me. So whenever I have a situation where I'm like, how can I change my luck? How can I address this situation? What should I do about this? How should I handle this, piece of furniture that's come into my possession? How should I go to this and it gives me a spell or something that I can do to help along that situation or to remedy that situation, right? So let's say I'm going to ask right now, like, what should I do today? What kind of practice should I do today? And sometimes I just shuffle until a card like pops out. I'm feeling really drawn to this one, so I'm going to pull out this one right here, and it's got two candles burning on it. And this one says bond, men, seal, commit, promise, connect, soul, love. So it's, saying to me that that's something that I should do today. So whether I take the time to bond with somebody or catch up with somebody, whether I commit to something or make a promise about to something, whether that's a promise to a person or to myself, whether I like connection, like when I see connection, I think of like doing connection work, like meditation work and connecting with my guides or my higher self or whatever. Um, Soul and love, like to me, that's just very much about just spending some time on myself and doing what I love to do, because most of the time I'm just like working, and there's a lot of stuff, like even if I'm not open or taking clients or it's a quiet day, like traffic wise, that doesn't mean that there's not paperwork and different things to do. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk to everybody else is I ended up, or another thing I wanted to mention is I ended up making a crazy cool disclaimer that I'm now going to use for now on. So I had a disclaimer that I had people sign like before coming and getting a reading to me. And I actually kind of got away from that a little bit, because I have insurance in place and I don't really need disclaimers. But then I decided that I was going to bring one back. So my rant and ramble video where I was talking about where like I didn't know what I was going to do, I ended up making a disclaimer. And it's an awesome disclaimer, and everyone has to read it before and initial it and sign it before they get a reading by me. So I'm going to see if I can address it that way. I guess I should say what this is before I get going. I broke my no purchase policy. Was for this right here. Every little thing you do is magic tarot. Okay. The name is horrible. I feel like if they named this deck something else, it would have been so much better, because I feel that every little thing you do is magic. First of all, it's a mouthful. Second of all, it kind of makes you it sounds like an affirmation deck. It sounds like the universe has got your back, or like those type of affirmation decks, right? So I was immediately turned off of it. I saw it a long time ago when it first came out, and I put my nose up at it because I was like, every little thing you do is magic. Like, first of all, it sounded like a tarot card deck for a 12-year-old kid. And then second of all, it just made me think of like some weird affirmation deck. And I kind of stuck my nose up at it. Now, sorry, I spit on the box as I was talking, and I'm like, anyways, I saw this once again. If you subscribe to Marcella's channel, her IG, she used this deck a couple times in her readings, and I was like, what the heck deck is that? And she said every little thing you do is magic. And that's like, I think the first time I saw it, and I was like, that does not it does not sit with me. And she kind of read with it, and I thought it was kind of like, her reading was cool, but her readings are always cool. And I was kind of like, that's not for me. And I skipped it, right? But then I think it was about 2 weeks ago, give or take, Annette on Project Refined Life did a video on this, and I watched the video because I like Annette's videos, and I watch her videos from time to time. And I was like, wait a minute, what deck is that? And then I went back and I was like, oh my God, it's that every little thing you do is magic. I really like this deck. I think it's super cool now. Like, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna say, like, I really like it. First of all, I like its cardstock. I think its cardstock's nice. For a deck that's like this bigger, wider oracle, like, it's nice that it's flexible. It's got some bend to it. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I don't know. I like the way that it feels. It doesn't stick. It doesn't clump together. It's got a nice slide to it. It's kind of shiny, but not horribly shiny, which is super nice. I love these borders. I think these borders are so cool. I love them. The backs are great, reversible, all that. Really like it. Um, and this is, I consider this an animal deck. It's got quite a few. There are some pictures, and some cards that don't have animals on them, but a majority of them have creatures. Like, this one obviously doesn't have. This one doesn't have any animals, but most of them do. And like this Empress card being otters. Yes. There is nothing better than an otter mom. They do such a good job taking care of their little babies. And I love the art style. It's a little weird. It's a little strange, right? Like, look at this. I would consider this a collage deck, but like, I love it. I think it's such cool artwork, and I really enjoy it, and I'm really liking my readings with it so far. But like I said, they're not all animal cards, but a majority of them are. I don't know. I really liked it. I wasn't expecting it. Oh, I love this. Okay, I have to show this. I love this Lovers card. So cool. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I enjoy it. I'm glad that I broke my no purchase policy and grabbed this for myself. And the other thing that I really, really like is just, okay, so this card, sorry, I'm gonna disrupt here for a second. This Elder of Pentacles, so the King of Pentacles, this card is stalking me. Every time I touch this deck, this card jumps out. I have no idea why. I'm trying to figure it out. Obviously, there's a message in this, right? But this card won't stop stalking me, and he is so cute, and I love it. And I'm just like, I don't know what you want, Elder Frog, but apparently you've got something to say to me because you keep jumping out. If you watch my channel, you know I don't spend much time in guidebooks, but this guidebook is amazing. Amazing. Um, the way that they write up and like their descriptions of the cards kind of are hit and miss with me, but it's this information down here. And my light's a little bright, so let's see if I can, And I just randomly opened up a page. But it gives you like like this deck immerses you so deep into the tarot world. So it gives you a crystal to resonate with. It gives you keywords at the bottom. Got a nice little colored picture of the card. They've got your numerology number 35 down here. And then they give mood music. So like a song that they've picked that encompasses the energy of this card. And then they give you a scent. So if you are into like concocting oil scents and like working with essential oils and all of that stuff, this one, the scent that they put with the Elder of Wands, so the King of Wands, a giant crackling bonfire is the scent that they put with it. I will give you another one. Let's see right here. This one right here. We've got Ace of Wands. They put aquamarine with it. They've given you a few keywords. The song that they put with it is Wide Open Spaces. And then the scent is a field of grains and dried grasses. And that's what the scent of that card sounds or smells like. So, I mean, like, honestly, this is so original. I've never seen anybody do anything like this. And I think that it's just fully immerses you into this deck and this world that they created. And I love it. But like I said, I think they should have named it something else. So I'm on Spotify, right? And I created myself. I went through the book. Sorry, there's like wavy lines on my phone. It's showing up on camera, but my phone's screen actually doesn't do it. It's really weird. It's like camera interference. It's really strange. Anyways, so I created my own playlist. Every little thing you do is magic. And I went through and I wrote down every single song that is in the book. So when I'm working with this deck and I pull a card, if I want to hear and immerse myself a little bit deeper into the energy of that card, I now have a complete playlist of 78 songs that all connect to this deck and are in what they have in their book, right? So I can make this public if anyone's interested, or you can just make your own. But I'll make mine public if anybody wants to, and I'll link it in the description box below if you have this deck. And it's random music from all different walks of life, from all different genres. Like it's not just like modern day music. There's a little bit of old on here, there's a little bit of new, there's like a little bit of everything. There's like different alternate versions of songs. It's really really cool. So if you do create your own playlist, make sure that you're like putting down exactly what's in this book so you get the exact song by the exact artist and creator, and you can get that nice immersion happening, right? So yeah. And what I've started doing, it's a little I still have to maybe work out a little bit of a better situation here or a little bit better of a system. But what I do is I shuffle it every morning and I just ask for a card to come forward. And whatever card falls out, I pick one. If a couple jump out, I pick one. And then I read in the book, the crystal, the keywords, the scent, and I then go to my little playlist, and while I'm getting up and I'm brushing my teeth and my hair and getting dressed and all that different stuff, I listen to the one song. I've been doing it for a little bit now, and I love it. I really enjoy it. Its art style is super cool. Like that is like the nicest tower card I think I've ever seen. It's got mushrooms, animals, and crystals, and cosmic, galactic, spacey scenes, and like weather elements in the background. How can you not? And landscapes. How can you not like this? It's fantastic. I really like it. So this is new to me and I'm really enjoying it. It's a great little one. All right, so that's my August TNC video with a little bit more of a rant about that video. I have a feeling it's going to come up a few more times, but I'm trying not to. I feel like I've said everything I've had to say at this point. But just, guys, always remember that we make these videos. I try to keep my videos in around a half an hour. Things get edited out, so details sometimes get left out or get edited out or different things like that. So just always keep that in mind. Um, But yeah, so thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, give me a subscribe and a thumbs up and a friendly comment, whatever. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.